Good morning. Welcome to the Delaware County Council meeting of June 23rd at a little after 9 a.m. We'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. And if everybody would please stand for the pledge. Donna, you want to start us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Steve, can we get a roll call, please?
Mr. Ballard.
Yes.
Mr. Bledsoe. Ms. Chambers.
Present.
Ms. Lassiter.
Here.
Ms. Piper.
Here.
Mr. Quakenbush.
Here.
Mr. Alexander.
Here.
Mr. Hughes.
Here.
All right, Denise, was the agenda posted?
Yes.
And
I
all the
yeah.
publications made? Okay, all right. And again, we're not at quite at full capacity, so I'm going to ask that any public questions be directed to the county council email address, county council district, or county council dist@co.delaware.in.us. And we'll get those answered. And I need an approval of the agenda.
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion from Jessica, second from Brian. Any discussion on that? Okay, roll call, please.
Ms. Chambers.
Yes.
Ms. Lassiter.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes.
Mr. Quakenbush.
Yes.
Mr. Ballard.
Yes.
Mr. Alexander.
Yes. And an approval of the minutes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Are those just last meeting, Denise?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, got a motion and a second. Any corrections, changes? If not,
Did you get that figured out, Denise?
What was it?
I sent you a thing about something that was confusing. Did you? I never heard back from you. I
I
forgot.
don't know. I don't remember that.
Well, it was, I sent you an email. I'll have to talk to you about it later, but it was just confusing. I don't remember what it was now.
need to make a change?
Well, I can't.
Okay.
I didn't
All right.
run a copy. I just sent her a note to ask her to double check something, and
Okay.
it's in my computer, but I don't have it with me.
Did we get a motion on that
Yes.
Yes.
from
And Jessica.
Me.
If
Jane and Jessica? Okay, all right.
there's a change, I'll bring it up at the next meeting.
Okay. All right, roll call, please.
Ms. Lassiter.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes.
Mr. Quakenbush.
Yes.
Mr. Ballard.
Yes.
Ms. Chambers.
Yes.
Mr. Alexander.
Yes. Okay, we've got an ordinance for second reading, and Bill, we sent that over to you. There were some changes made at the request of, at the last meeting. Those changes have been made, copies have been sent out a couple different times to the council members. Is that the same number? Does that remain the same number?
Yes.
Okay. And that is?
2020-005.
Oh, there we go, yep. Okay, 2020-005, and I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
We need to substitute the new version for the old version.
Okay, we need to substitute the new,
A motion to amend the ordinance by substituting the newly distributed copy
okay,
for what was introduced.
did you get that?
Yes.
As amended.
Well, should we just say motion to approve as rewritten?
As amended would be fine, wouldn't it, Mr.
Well,
Hughes?
it's up to Mr. Hughes.
Need to amend it first and then approve
Okay.
it as amended.
Up to Mr. Hughes.
So are we asking for an amendment to the ordinance that was approved, or are we asking to substitute?
Same thing.
Okay,
Need a motion to amend the ordinance.
By substituting the newly distributed version.
I make a motion to substitute amend the old version and substitute it with the new amended version of 2020-005.
And I still second.
Good enough, Bill?
Yes.
All right, okay, we've got it.
Perfect.
Motion from Ryan, a second from Jessica.
For the record, I think you should put in the record what was changed verbally. Mr. Hughes can explain
Yep.
that, I guess.
Go ahead, Mr. Hughes, if you'd like to explain that, please.
If you go to the bottom of page 2, the end of section 1, we're adding the following. The county council further finds and determines that the County Redevelopment Commission adopted its amending confirmatory resolution on June 18th, 2020. That such amending confirmatory resolution limited the life of the Daleville 2 allocation area to the term of the bonds. And 3, that the county council hereby approves the issuance of the bonds with the understanding that the allocation area will automatically sunset upon the retirement of the bonds. That was as a result of the discussion at the last meeting.
Okay. Any discussion from council on that? Okay, Brad?
I appreciate council's enthusiasm and support of this project. It's a good project. It is an entrepreneurial project, so on this,
You speak up just a little bit.
the company's pledging their own funding for the project, so I appreciate your support. Project like this, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Brad? Okay, roll call, please.
Ms. Piper.
Yes.
Mr. Quakenbush.
Yes.
Mr. Ballard.
Yes.
Ms. Chambers.
Yes.
Ms. Lassiter.
Yes.
Mr. Alexander.
Yes.
Thank you. Y'all have a good day.
Thank you, Brad.
Now you need to adopt it.
Get your house
Now we
done.
need to, now we need to adopt that, guys. We just amended that, so I need a motion to adopt
I'll move to adopt.
2020.
Second.
Okay, motion to adopt 2020-005. I've got a motion from Jessica and a second from Ryan. Any discussion on that? Roll call, please.
Quakenbush.
Yes.
Mr. Ballard.
Yes.
Ms. Chambers.
Yes.
Ms. Lassiter.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes.
Mr. Alexander.
Yes.
God.
All right.
Oh, these 10 pounds up here today.
All right. We are at a treasurer's report. Ed, would you like to come up and talk to us? Ed passed out a comparison of collections from 2020 to 2019 for all of you guys to look at. And Ed, I appreciate you working real hard on keeping us up to date.
Ed Carroll, County Treasurer. What I tried to find is a chart explaining historically back to May 22nd of our collections. Now, if you have asked me 2 weeks prior to May 10th, we were down about 35%. So yes, but then where we end up, finance will definitely be down. Right now, we're actually only down about 3.5% compared to last year at this same time. It's $1.8 million, and it created a cash flow issue with the county. As far as the total collections, collected compared to last year at this time, I think we're doing fairly well.
This is total, not just county share, right? It's total
This is
collections.
Total collections. As you know, this is actually the issue created because of the executive orders that the governor put in place back this spring. When the tax deadline back on penalties back July 10th, it created a situation where a lot of taxpayers opted not to pay by May 10th because there were penalties to pay. Opted to pay, and it's created cash flow for us. As far as total collections, it looks like we're going to be close to collecting all or more than we collect. Questions?
That's good news.
Certainly is.
Yep, and you'll get us up to date on once you arrive after July 10th.
Yep.
Yep.
Sure can.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Right.
Point of information. Will you tell us, do you know, if just round numbers, the approximate percentage of our total budget for county comes from property tax? But
We're supposed to collect,
it's
it's
somewhere.
like 14 something, 14 million.
Yeah,
um,
it's right at half,
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, here,
I
just-
think.
Oh, I didn't do county
I
general
didn't mean
this
to put you
time.
on the spot.
I can't remember what the county general budget was. Yeah, not quite half probably.
So the other half of our revenue is gonna have some different variables than minus 3%, right? Just so, for the record.
Yeah, we have
This is the good
we have a
news.
substantial loss in revenues other than property tax.
This is good news. The rest of it's not so good.
Right.
But we don't have it all yet.
Like tomorrow's settlement is, overall, it's $7 million under last year.
That's a good number.
But when July 11th gets here, sometime July 11th and before the 1st of August probably, I have to do a advanced draw, which isn't normal, for that extended tax collection period. So we'll receive more money, hopefully for the end of July. I don't know when I'll get it done, but that'll get us more like caught up to date to what a normal June settlement would have been. So our collections aren't looking too bad for the spring. So, just gonna come in two sets, I guess you'd say. Yeah, it's the other revenue that's the problem.
All right, we are on to financial and transfer.
Transfers.
Let's go transfers.
Okay, the regular transfer agenda. Make sure I got the right one. Okay. Commissioners, A137 VA assistant, minus $23,083.86. B137 VA assistant, plus $23,083.86. Total request zero. Still nobody for it.
What's pleasure of council on this item? Is there a motion to approve? Okay, move on.
All of the financial side, that is changing of employees or new employees, you can't do with the current ordinance that you've passed. So you're either going to have to amend your ordinance. That's why that one there didn't receive a motion, because it's contrary to your ordinance or your resolution that you passed.
I understand, yeah, the hiring freeze.
Yep, and you got others that's gonna fall under the same thing, so.
It's up to you guys, council, whether you want to tackle that now or wait till the next one comes up. If not, I'll move on.
Well, I'll make a comment. This is in the county commissioner's budget, and there was no one at the finance committee meeting to discuss it, so,
No one here today either.
and so I mean, it's been tradition with this council for as long as I've been here, and before I was on council, that we do need the respect of the department head or elected official to explain the situation, so I'll just leave that with that.
Okay, nothing from council yet, let's move on.
Okay, jail. Oh, God, wait a minute, I'm fogging up. D134 correction officer, minus $17,647.95. E134 correction officer, plus $17,647.95. Total request zero.
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion to approve from Ron, a second from Jessica. on this one, and these are outside of the hiring ordinance. Any discussion on that? Roll call, please.
Mr. Ballard.
Yes.
Mr. Chambers.
Yes.
Ms. Lassiter.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes.
Mr. Quakenbush.
Yes.
Mr. Alexander.
Yes.
Emergency Medical Services, A103, which is a paramedic, minus 20, oh, I have a correction here. It's minus $27,671.24.
Can you say that again? That was a little bit-
26,781.24.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Well, you didn't say that.
Yeah, you said 27.
You
That's
said
what threw me.
27. Is
well.
the 26
I
right?
can't see.
Oh, okay. The 26 is right?
Yeah, $26,781.24.
That's what you gave us at Finance
Okay.
Committee. Okay. I got it.
To B103 plus 26,781.24, total request 0.
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion from Jessica, a second from Ryan?
Ron.
Ron.
Ron, okay.
Muffled.
Any discussion on this? Roll call, please.
Ms. Chambers.
Yes.
Ms. Lassiter.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes.
Mr. Quakenbush.
Yes.
Mr. Ballard.
Yes.
Mr. Alexander.
Yes.
Immunization grant, 198 part-time, minus $11,705. 171, which is FICA, minus $952.19. Supplies, 211, plus $17,095.19. 323 travel, minus $1,438. 393 advertising, minus $3,000, total request 0.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion from Jessica, a second from Jane. Any discussion on that?
Jamie was at Finance Committee meeting and explained that.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ms. Lassiter.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes.
Mr. Quakenbush.
Yes.
Mr. Ballard.
Yes.
Ms. Chambers.
Yes.
Mr. Alexander.
Yes.
Jail lit public safety, 106, minus $18,291.95. A106, plus $18,291.95, total request 0.
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion from Jessica, a second from Ryan. Any discussion on this? We did have some discussion in finance on this, that this is actually one of the positions that's coming out of the lit fund, and we know that the lit fund is going to be affected, so we've
Which is a
we ask that you guys do whatever you can to minimize the positions and save money in that lit fund, because what we save now is going to help us moving into the next few years. So with that being said, any other comments? You guys, do you want to say something? Okay, all right. Roll call, please.
Ms. Piper.
Yes.
Mr. Quakenbush.
Yes.
Mr. Ballard.
Yes.
Ms. Chambers.
Yes.
Ms. Lassiter.
Yes.
Mr. Alexander.
Yes.
Okay, transfer addendum, auditor, D104, paymaster, minus $17,989.96. E104, paymaster, plus $17,989.96. 102, chief deputy, minus $32,796.64. A102, chief deputy, plus $32,796.64. A119, tax sale deputy, minus $16,800.98. B119, tax sale deputy, plus $16,800.98. Total request 0.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second from, or a motion from Jessica, a second from Ryan on this. This one is contrary to the ordinance 2020-005 that we had on the books. So Bill, give us some guidance on what we would need to do to move forward from here.
Well, the resolution you adopted, 2020-015, is in a sense, it's the sense of the council as to how you're going to proceed with new hiring. Obviously, if you approve this, you're changing your sense. You're in effect amending the resolution. I think you could approach it a couple different ways. You could go ahead and amend the resolution now before you consider this request, or you could, at the end, as you do, when you make your motion to amend the salary ordinance, you could include in that a motion to also amend Resolution 2020-015 to conform with what you've done.
Is that 005 or
015.
015? I don't know why I've got 005. Okay. What's the pleasure of council?
Just for clarification for an old guy, okay? If we do that amendment at the end, would that, within our approval of the transfer and financial agenda, that only then refers to what we do today?
That's correct.
So if we did that later, we'd have to do that all the
You'd
same
have
way
to
again?
reconsider the issue next month if there are other requests, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it is.
Well, I kind of like that idea.
Okay, we do have a motion and a second on the floor if everybody's, unless there's some discussion. Well,
Well, one
there
of
will
the
be some
spots-
discussion actually on this.
Well, one of the spots we're not gonna fill. That's the chief deputy spot. Donna's the chief deputy, and we'll address that probably at the next meeting, but, paymaster is a transfer within the department, so that's only leaves a spot open as a tax sale deputy. And it's like I told you at the finance meeting, I'll just leave the chief deputy spot open. And there's $33,000 in there that just goes back to the county general fund, but I can't leave it open and the tax sale deputy and 2 people on furlough, and, I mean, it's killing some of these
Or
departments.
part-time quit.
You know, and so, you still have to replace people, and, but right now, we're doing it in office for the chief deputy spot, and it's worked out fine, so I'm just soon leave
So you're
that.
withdrawing that?
I'm withdrawing the chief deputy
Okay.
spot. That's what I told you at the finance meeting, that I wouldn't fill that.
Bill, do we need to amend the motion that's on the
Correct.
table to withdraw that? Okay.
I've got a question though.
Okay.
Are we gonna have to continuously amend it when it comes to other positions? I mean, I guess that's my question. Is it better to just rescind it? And then we figure out from there?
Well, that's up to you guys for today. I mean, what we can do, like Bill explained, and it wasn't I guess a scenario I had discussed with anybody in some of the discussions we've had, in the last month, is make those changes to 2020-015 like we do the motion to approve and the transfers and salary ordinance in there in the motion. So we can do it either way.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend doing that every month. I think maybe if you want to do that at this meeting, then over the course of the next few weeks, you might want to reconsider how that resolution is written and perhaps amend it so that you can go forward, so everyone understands what your policy is going to be as far as new positions.
That's why I liked what you suggested, Bill, is the fact that this is the first time we've met publicly for two meetings now. And the fact that the chief deputy thing is being withdrawn, so that leaves paymaster. Paymaster could fall under public safety because the paymaster pays the public safety people. I mean, if you want to get real downright technical about it. And the clerk's coming up next, and they're in the midst of a national election. So this is kind of an emergency time. So I kind of like your comment, do it this time. But if we want to do this, don't do it again, or don't really make sure I like it, just the way you said it. Thank you. Anybody else?
No, so we have a motion on the table at this point to approve 104, 102, and 119 as it was presented in there. I think if we're going to move forward, they've already withdrawn 102, so we need to amend that,
Amend the motion.
amend the motion to exclude 102.
I would move to update my motion to include the withdrawal of line item 102.
Second.
A second from Ryan on that, so we'll need to vote on the amendment and then on the motion. Okay, any discussion on that? Roll call, Steve, please.
Mr. Quakenbush,
Yes.
Mr. Ballard,
Yes.
Ms. Chambers,
Yes.
Ms. Lassiter.
Yes.
Ms. Piper,
Yes.
Mr. Alexander.
Yes. That's the amendment. Let's vote on the motion. Any discussion on the motion as amended? Okay, Steve, roll call, please.
Mr. Ballard,
Yes.
Ms. Chambers,
Yes.
Ms. Lassiter.
Yes.
Ms. Piper,
Yes.
Mr. Quakenbush,
Yes.
Mr. Alexander.
Yes.
Okay, clerk, A102, chief deputy, minus $18,448.25. B102, oh God, chief deputy, plus $18,448.25. C115, deputy registration clerk, minus $17,195.37. D115, deputy registration clerk, plus $17,195.37. Total request 0.
Donna, I have a correction on those numbers.
Okay?
On the A102, B102, the numbers should be minus 16,398.48. Plus would be the same.
Okay?
And on 115, it'd be minus 14,324.11. And
Thank you.
Say that second one again for me. 14.
14,324.11.
Got it. Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, got a
As
motion to
presented.
approve from Ron, a second from Jessica. Rick?
It's just that, you know, you guys, I hate to be one of the first ones that would ask you to make a change in the resolution, because I've been where you're sitting. But it's not physically possible for me to run this election. You know, this has been the election for Hill, not just in Delaware County, but countrywide. We processed over 7,000 absentee applications in the primary. I'm buying supplies for 14,000 for the fall, and I believe we could even have more than that. It's going crazy.
Have you got any guidance yet on where they're going to be on the absentees? Are they planning on running the fall election similar to the primary, or have they made those decisions yet?
They have changed the absentee application, and they've gone back to asking the questions. You know, during the primary, since the dates got jumbled up, they would let anybody apply for an absentee. They've gone back to the questions on the app. You have to answer the qualifying question to get an absentee ballot. But there's still just going to be a huge fight and push toward mail ballots. We're doing everything in our power to get people to the polls, get them to vote in person. We will have a month this time of in-person absentee voting, which we only had a week in the primary, so that'll help us a bunch. We're asking the state to make exceptions even on satellites, where non-vote center counties can actually open up a second satellite so we could more early voting. So we're trying everything we can to find a way to cut down the man hours that it takes to process paper.
Rick, I've got a question. When it comes to, you know, I'm sorry. The poll books, is that something that we're gonna be able to use here soon?
Absolutely.
Is that,
Poll books in for this fall. The only reason we didn't do it in the spring was we got our poll books in, 2 weeks later, we had to turn in all of our ballots and all of our paperwork for the election, because it just did that big contraction real quick. So I have the poll books. As a matter of fact, we're gonna start training the third week in July for our inside people, and then our inside people are gonna train the clerks and the inspectors on the outside. It's gonna be a big change. We'll be able to eliminate one position in our precincts. The sheriff's position will be eliminated. We'll be moving the judge back to behind the clerk instead of in front of the clerk, so the judge will actually walk people to the voting machines. That's gonna cut us people there, and then after the election, where the poll books really come in handy, or the poll pads, is everything is downloaded electronically. We don't have to go through all them books and mark and get all that stuff in there. Right now, we don't even have the poll books in yet, and on those sheets that I gave you, we're over 1,200 behind right now on registrations where people have requested to get registered to vote online. We haven't got that done, and we're already receiving absentee ballots.
Rick, are we getting any closer to the possibility of vote centers?
We brought it up in the last election board meeting, and the Democrat representative, which was the current Democrat chair, refused to discuss it. We had 2 or 3 votes, but it takes 3. Your legislators, they can change that in the next session.
and that would make things a lot easier with everything that's going on right now.
Save the county more money.
Say it again?
I can save the county more money.
Well, and I know we've had issues with getting workers to the poll, especially with what went on
Terrible shortage in this.
here in the spring, because it was a lot of the people that would have normally been in those polling positions were people that would have been in the at-risk category. And I know I asked you to hold off on this last month, and I'm going to ask you today, do you need both of these positions, or can one be?
It's just not
Okay.
physically possible for me to go forward or get caught up without.
And you understand the position council's in, though. I mean, things are going to be immensely tight.
You know, the hours we put in that primary, I had people working back-to-back 12 and 13-hour days to get done. I even ended up in the hospital myself, having to have a heart ablation. It just, you know, we can't go at that pace again. We've got to be better prepared and have the help we need to do this.
Excuse me, Scott.
Go ahead.
I was called the day before election, and someone couldn't make it to do absentee count. And I'd been involved in a lot of elections, but not on the inside. And I felt it was a privilege. I enjoyed the time I did that. And we had, at the time I was there was 6,300 and some absentees to be counted. And I enjoyed it. It was not easy work, but it wasn't hard work.
We usually start counting absentees at noon and then finish up before we tally that evening. We started counting absentees at 6 a.m.
Yeah, that was a tough part. I had to get up before I'm supposed to. But it was a privilege to do that, and I appreciated it.
Folks, and it works. It's a good
I was doing it to help out, but it helped me to understand the procedure a lot better.
Actually, Ron peeled more stamps off of envelopes.
Oh,
Thought he didn't.
the
Yes,
post
we
office
did.
didn't cancel the stamp, so I gave them to the clerk to use. I peeled them off. Waste not, want not, they say.
Any more discussion from council on these two? Roll call, please.
Ms. Chambers,
Yes.
Ms. Lassiter,
Yes.
Ms. Piper,
Yes.
Mr. Quakenbush,
Yes.
Mr. Ballard,
Yes.
Mr. Alexander.
Yes.
I've marked everything wrong. You're hilarious. Okay, sorry. EMS, E-138, which is an advanced EMT, minus $11,912.46. God. F-138, plus $11,912.46. Total request 0.
Move to, oh, go ahead.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion from Jane, second from Jessica. Any discussion on that one? Roll call, please.
Ms. Lassiter.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes.
Mr. Quakenbush.
Yes.
Mr. Ballard.
Yes.
Ms. Chambers.
Yes.
Mr. Alexander.
Yes.
Communication Center, C-123 minus $27,785.20. D-123 plus $27,785.20. A-115 minus $694.63. D-125 minus $225.68. E-109 minus $66.72. F-109 minus $489.50. 129 OIC plus $1,476.53. Total request 0.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion from Jessica, second from Brian. Paul, you want to tell us where you're at? I know Paul and I have been discussing for the last several months on the position over there financially, and I know Paul's done a lot to try and cut expenses the best he can. This is, you wouldn't be coming to us if this isn't one you needed, I don't think, but tell us.
I've got 2 that I have not filled yet, and then I just had 2 full-time people take other full-time jobs, one with the fire department and one with Lifeline EMS. Better paying jobs for both of them, so I can't fault either of them for leaving. So this is to fill one of my openings that I have. This is a woman who comes to us with experience, worked a number of years in Randolph County, was a supervisor there for a while, so I think she's going to be very quick to work into the mix, so we're not training somebody from ground zero. She's already has a lot of her certifications, it's just up to speed on what. I actually started her part-time so I could get her in and start her training, and this is for over effective Thursday, I believe. It's approved to full-time.
Any other discussion from council?
And I especially need that spot because vacations have not hit for us. So once vacations start, if I don't start to fill some of those spots, the overtime is just going.
Any other questions from council? Roll call, Steve, please.
Ms. Piper.
Yes.
Mr. Quakenbush.
Yes.
Mr. Ballard.
Yes.
Ms. Chambers.
Yes.
Ms. Lassiter.
Yes.
Mr. Alexander.
Yes.
Ryan is.
Thank you.
Okay, financial agenda. I forget, eviction, what's this called, eviction?
Emily will tell you. She's walking up to the,
ADR courts, COVID-19, 310 mediation services, $10,000. Total request, $10,000.
Move to approve.
Second.
motion from Jessica, a second from Ron. Go ahead, Emily.
Hi, good morning, Emily Anderson, Board Administrator. We currently have an ADR program for our domestic relations cases, which includes divorce cases and paternity cases. All state us and wanted to do our eviction cases. So we teamed up with Blackstone. I don't know if you know what Blackstone is, or how we counseling agency within Monday. And so we've got this program started to, we're going to launch it July 1. We have our certified mediators that have had some extra training, eviction and Capstone. And this $10,000 came from the Community Foundation. They gave it to us related to COVID-19. The pandemic, a lot of people will be. The hope is that instead of getting the eviction, we'll either work something out and stay and pay, along with additional resources, or that they'll work a a move-out plan, but it will go into eviction, so it won't go on the person's credit score, judgment, whatever. So this $10,000 is just to pay mediation services. It will pay for our mediators, and our hope is that we'll secure funding to keep the plan going, because it's just going to.
Any questions from council? Okay, roll call, please, Steve.
Mr. Quakenbush,
Yes.
Mr. Ballard,
Yes.
Ms. Chambers,
Yes.
Ms. Lassiter.
Yes.
Ms. Piper,
Yes.
Mr. Alexander.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Sales Disclosure Fund, 212 Form 11 supplies, $2,464.31. Total request, $2,464.31.
Move to approve?
Second.
Motion from Jessica, second from Ron. Go ahead, James. We talked about this in finance, but you might as well bring everybody up to date.
Yeah, I'll update that for you on finance, but I was gone last. This is the remainder of the Form 11 supplies that we pay out for envelopes, paper, postage, and that sort. So we budget a certain amount. This is just the overage, what was left over, and we appropriated out of that.
Questions from council? Okay, roll call, please, Steve.
Ballard,
Yes.
Ms. Chambers,
Yes.
Ms. Lassiter.
Yes.
Ms. Piper,
Yes.
Mr. Quakenbush,
Yes.
Mr. Alexander.
Yes. Thanks, James.
Enhanced 911, 313 APCO EMD program, $23,000. Total request, $23,000.
Move to approve?
Second?
Motion from Jessica, second from Jane. And Paul, you're gonna have to explain this like you explained it to me a month ago, because I couldn't remember exactly what you said in finance. And
Our dispatchers are certified through a company called APCO. It's a company based out of Florida who do, they're basically the liability provider behind how we dispatch, as long as we follow the protocol. And with that, there has been a piece of software. There were two companies that banded together to sell and distribute this software that many agencies have used throughout the country. They have split, so neither of them can legally sell software that we have now. So it's end of life, and support is no longer available where we can't go in and actually change our protocols. So this is just replacing one piece of software with a newer piece of software that will give us our emergency medical dispatch protocols, as well as this has the features where we can certify our people in law enforcement protocols and also fire protocols, which is becoming more prevalent throughout the country too. So it's just when we get a medical call, they open the software and they put in some basic symptoms, and it tells them, you know, who we need to send, what level of response we need to go to the software. So software tells us what level of care we need to dispatch, so we know which EMS unit to dispatch. It's just a piece of software that helps us to do everything. Maximum is $23,000. That's for the software and a proxy server. I don't think we're going to need a proxy server. I'm not 100% sure. So if we don't need a proxy server, that cost will only be $20,000. This money I've asked for out of my state 466 account, my cash account. I've got a pretty good chunk of money in there, but that money is, most of it's earmarked to My budget for the 466 comes out of that account. That's where that money's coming from, out of that cash account from the state. And that is one of that 466 account is designated and limited on what we can spend it on by statute, and this is one that we are allowed to spend that money on.
Any questions from council?
I just, out of curiosity, who has access to change those protocols? Is that?
That's through the company, and we can change them with our medical director, if the medical director signs off on them. We're not supposed to go in and just change protocols.
That's what I was curious about.
We have to have medical director, and then they have to approve it to national standards. And as long as we stay in this, they stand behind us. It's when we get outside of those protocols and we start, doing our own thing, one-off, that's when the medical director and doesn't like that. They'll quickly call us on it.
Well, over the years, from time to time, I've been in group conversation as well as private on protocols from fire departments, volunteer fire departments. Now we've got the city with another ambulance service. So that's why I was just curious, because I know in the past, sometimes the people you were dispatching didn't like the way the protocol was set up, and they wanted to control it, and that's why I was curious.
And we've had some bumpy spots with some EMSs and volunteer, the township EMSs, Ryan, you know the situations, and the fire, they want things their own way, and I've got to stand firm that we're not going to do one-offs. We're not going to do where somebody is completely different, because there's a procedure, and I keep telling them,
Right.
they will call up and say, we want this changed, or we want that changed. You can't do it. There is a procedure, there's a protocol to go through to get that changed. So
I think the biggest thing that needs to be highlighted is the continuity. That's the biggest thing. Everybody can't have different protocols all within the same entity, so.
right, because
It's my favorite pen.
I've said this from day one, that the more we do things different, the more likely we are to make a
Mistake.
So if we can get the protocols the same, granted, they're gonna have some internal policies that are gonna be a little different on how they handle stuff after we get there or whatever, but that's them. As long as we're dispatching it, as long as we dispatch the same call the same way each time, that's what we need. We need to find out the two basic questions: what's wrong and where are you? Get that and get somebody started, we can get some. And this will just help us, like Brian, you mentioned, to be consistent across the board on how we dispatch.
Thank you. Appreciate the explanation.
Any other questions? Steve, roll call, please.
Ms. Chambers.
Yes.
Ms. Lassiter.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes.
Mr. Quakenbush.
Yes.
Mr. Ballard.
Yes.
Mr. Alexander.
Yes. Anything else, Denise?
No.
Okay, I didn't know if anything else came in that we weren't aware of or not. Okay, we're ready for the motion, but the motion,
I think I got it.
okay.
I think I got it. So here we go. Motion to approve financial transfers into men's salary ordinance, including resolution 2020-015 with like reductions.
Second.
You like that, Bill?
I like that.
Okay, all right. We've got a motion from Jessica, second from Ryan. Any discussion on that? Roll call, please, Steve.
Ms. Lassiter.
Yes.
Ms. Piper,
Yes.
Mr. Quakenbush,
Yes.
Mr. Ballard,
Yes.
Ms. Chambers.
Yes.
Mr. Alexander.
Yes. Let's see, committee reports, we don't have any tax abatements, appointments, or personnel. Ordinances we've taken care of. No resolutions. But we do have a report from Molly Hunt on the fair update. Are you, okay, there we go. I knew you were around here somewhere.
Yes, thank you, good morning. I was in the hall practicing social distancing. So, good morning, council. I wanted to provide you with a short update on our 4-H fair. We have gone through the process of meeting both with the county health department and the county health officer, and creating a safety plan to ensure the health and safety of all of our volunteers and our youth. And we will be hosting an exhibitor-only in-person event at the county fairgrounds. We received permission from the commissioners to move forward with that earlier this month, and we submitted our safety plan to the university last night for director approval. And so we're confident that we'll be able to celebrate the learning of our youth through this exhibition while ensuring everybody's safety. We have face coverings that are coming for all volunteers and youth participants that are branded in beautiful black and gold with the Purdue emblem to keep them safe on the ground. Spoiler up. And I'm happy to answer any questions about the safety plan or how the 4-H program has adapted through COVID-19. I did send an email out earlier last month to highlight the efforts of our Ag and Natural Resources educators and their distribution of almost 2,000 gallons of milk a week that was saved through Prairie Farms and part of the CARES and COVID ag relief efforts, and we've also been hosting, we have been hosting weekly East Central Indiana government roundtables as well as economic outlooks for local government.
And I did receive my orange card yesterday, which I'm sure some of you received it, about the auction. And I'm glad to hear that kids are going to benefit from that.
Yes, this year, out of respect for all of our businesses and folks that might have been financially or economically impacted by COVID-19, we are going to be doing a premium-only auction. So there will be no market truck, but there will be a one-pot premium. So it's a one-time ask. So any business or sponsor that would like to contribute, it goes into one pot, and then all youth that participate in the auction then receive their piece of the, their part of that. So it's an equal for all youth.
Well, Molly, you know I'm a huge fan of Extension, so I appreciated all of your efforts during, especially the beginning of all of the quarantine and COVID. Lifestyle changes and just having those weekly meetings, those were really beneficial. Not that I always participated in every Friday meeting, but just hearing what was going on with our neighboring counties and what their struggles were, or what fun resources they had found and how those could apply to our own community. Those were very beneficial, so I appreciate you hosting those.
Thank you. Thanks for participating.
I have a question. Why is the state fair canceled and the Marion County Fair not canceled?
So the state fair is not canceled. We
Oh, it
will-
isn't? Oh, I
Nope,
thought it
we
was.
will be having so the carnival portion of the Indiana State Fair is canceled. So in Indiana, of the county fairs, just over, I want to say like 22 have decided not to have an in-person option. They've gone strictly virtual, and largely those decisions have been made on finances because their fair board could not afford to host the fair and take the financial loss, just like our fair board did here. But because our 4-H council is a separate entity, we've been able to move forward. So the state fair is the same. So the state fair, the actual carnival and the big month-long event, because of finances, will not be moving forward in the capacity that we remember it from years past, but there will be a 4-H exhibition there. So there will be livestock shows there, and there will also be a exhibit of our static projects, the non-breathing projects, for one day that people can then celebrate those accomplishments of the state.
So explain this auction. You're not gonna hold an auction,
Right.
but you're gonna, what, get donors and then pool the funds and distribute them
Yeah.
accordingly? So
Yep, so it's called.
is that set up so it's tax deductible?
I believe so. So the auction runs separately actually from our office. We don't, those funds don't come through extension because they don't have an educational purpose, which is our mission. And so the Sean Eldridge and Tom Eisen with the auction committee run that separately, but I do believe it's a 501c3 that then it is.
I think it'd be
tax
good to let the public know, because it would be, because there's a lot of people that are collecting. Gosh, I sent money to Guy Fieri for the restaurant people,
Yeah, we
stuff
were
like
trying to
that.
be sensitive as we looked forward.
I like that, yeah.
Ron, I think all the past auction participants have been contacted at this point by mail or email or somewhere. I know I've seen it come across one way or the other, maybe both, in there. And some 4-H'ers have contacted me too, so I think they're somewhat aware of it. I think right there at the beginning when they said Delaware County Fair was canceled, there was some news media about that caused some concern for the 4-H side, and it'll be different.
Yeah, so there's confusion, right, that the fair is canceled, and so the carnival, the Delaware County Fair, the 4-H fair is not canceled. Yeah,
Fair enough.
and again, those are economic, financial decisions.
Yep. Appreciate all your work. Thank you.
All right, thank you guys so much. Have a great day.
Thank you, Molly.
You too. Okay. I've got president remarks down there, but I meant for that to say council remarks. So have you guys got anything you want to discuss before we close out?
I have some information here that coincides with our concerns. It's a memorandum from the DLGF. Everyone here on the board's got a copy of it, but just for the record, it says, over the next few days, the department will post individual county reports on the county-specific information web page. It also has inclusive here that motor vehicle highway will be 82% of what it's been in the past. Local road and street, 82% of what it's been in the past. So that's a little indication that there's some numbers coming out, and this is pretty recent.
Well, I think, Ron, you and I had discussed there were a couple early estimates. I know Hicks' report came out. There was one from DeBoer that came out from Purdue University, and some of these are of course speculation, but they're based on data and facts and the way they figured it, and I think a couple of what we have seen have been high-low estimates where they've gave a let's say a bad case scenario and a better case scenario in there. And I know all of us have been following this. Every day there's something that comes out and grabs our attention, and keeping up to date on where things are. And we're hoping soon for some better and better numbers all the time as time goes on and as things start to come in and reflect what may be for the next 2 or 3 years. So.
Well, I just wanted to bring that up to support you, Scott, because Scott has been overwhelmed in a sense with trying to row this boat without the oars. I'll put it that way. It's tough on him because he doesn't have the information, and we talk a lot. I talked with Donna and Steve, and it's just really unusual. Mary and I talked a little bit after finance. It's something that she and I have not experienced before, and we've been through some bumps. But I got acquainted with Mary as she worked for the trustee, Center Township trustee, and she would bring appeals to the county commissioners. So Mary and I got off on a kind of a rough start because she didn't like it when we'd overrule her, but we're still very good friends, and hopefully we can get through this one. We've been through the tax caps and loss of interest income, and from a business point of view, when you're in business, you have the ability in some ways to use a little ingenuity and maybe change your product or change your service, and you can increase your revenue. But when the state of Indiana controls our revenue pretty closely, our hands are tied. And I just think that as being the old guy on the board, it's great to see that the newer folks here with me now are learning it the toughest time we'll probably ever have. So it's a good experience for you.
Well, and so far, I haven't found out anything about lit taxes. That's a really big concern of mine. With the unemployment rate the way it is, we're going to be losing probably quite a few dollars.
Anybody else?
I'm going to go to the Visitors Bureau. They have changed their meeting time, but they have furloughed all of their people. I think they have a bookkeeper that works a few hours a week.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, Jim is the only one that's employed. So.
Well, Convention Center has also, Horizon Convention Center has also made some changes similar to that, where they've, those are directly affected by food and beverage and
Right.
hotel motel tax, and they know where their money comes from, and they're going to be short of what we're projected in those budgets. So it's across the board. There's no doubt about it. We're going to have a lot of work ahead of us, and I'm confident because I've got good experienced people here that have been through this before, and a lot of help and cooperation from the auditor's office, the treasurer's office, and hopefully all the departments. So moving forward, we will do what we need to do.
Well, Donna can certainly tell you what it's going to do to the Fair Board.
We're in bad.
No,
shape.
we're still talking back and forth. As Ron had brought this up, we had to take it off of the agenda because we're not ready
Okay.
to look at it yet, but thanks, Ron. Okay. Need a motion to adjourn.
Oh, I think we have a couple people. I thought we had someone that wanted to speak out in the hallway.
They have to do it by internet.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
we had set up
Okay.
the meeting because all of the public cannot get into this meeting. But if you've got any requests, please email us at the email or at the email that we put out there, and we'll take care of all public comment through the email address until we can get back to where we're all in the same room.
Want to
Okay.
do that one more time, the email address?
What's that?
Give the email out.
Yeah, it's county council, all one word, DIST @co.delaware.in.us.
Is that yours?
I need a motion to adjourn if you guys are ready.
So moved.
Second.
Motion from Jessica, second from Ryan. Roll call, please.
Ms. Piper,
Yes.
Mr. Quakerbush,
Yes.
Mr. Ballard,
Yes.
Ms. Chambers,
Yes.
Ms. Lassiter.
Yes.
Mr. Alexander.
Yes.